Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith. I'm a third degree brown belt in Isshinryu Karate. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing just the Isshinryu Basics workout and how it can benefit both your arm strength and leg strength. All right, let me set this down and back away. uh, now, a lot of people like to work out with weights, but there are ways of benefiting your arm and leg strength without working out with weights. For example, by the time you do 10 solid reps, 10 to 20 solid reps of each basic hand strike and each leg kick, and in Isshinryu as a warm up every day before class, whenever I was training in high school and college, 5 days a week like that, and also do like three sets of 20 reps of push-ups and three sets of 20 reps of sit-ups in the midst of the warm-up, and sometimes maybe 20 reps of jumping jacks or something like that just to get your blood going. Sometimes we might do 10 or 20 reps of rocking chairs, very rarely, to be honest. And sometimes once or twice we did some reps of alternating toe touches. And that's about all we did to warm up. Well, about a year after I actually had to quit Isshinryu, I had never actually leg pressed on a machine in a gym, and I was then applying for the Kenner Police Department, which I was ultimately turned down because I had never been to a police academy, even though they didn't list that as a requirement on the application. Um, but anyway, at the physical fitness test, you had to be able to run a mile and a half in 12 minutes, which isn't even that fast. And then you had to be able to leg press 450 pounds using both legs, and you had to be able to do so many push-ups and stuff like that. Well, whenever I got 450 pounds with both legs, I was like, I'm sure I can do that with one leg. So we tried it, and I leg pressed 450 with both legs, one at a time on each leg. And then I'm like, I wonder how much I can leg press with just one leg. So the guy let me try in increments of 50 pounds, and I got all the way up to 650 pounds with my right leg and around 600 to 650 with my left leg only. So I had never worked out with the weights before in my life, other than a few times trying to bench press. Um, and my leg strength, just from doing Isshinryu Basics, was that high that I could leg press 650 pounds with one leg. I can still leg press about 450 pounds with one leg right now, 23 years later. So you really do not need to work out with heavy weights to develop, you know, freaking knockout power with your front thrust kick. If you just practice it 10 or 20 reps a day, it will absolutely knock someone's guts out when you kick them. Um, and that's the point. So back then I was doing two sets of 50 push-ups every day, in addition to doing what we did in class. So I suppose I was doing around 160 push-ups every day, and I was doing a set of max sit-ups on my own at home every day. And I will admit that I caught COVID-19 twice, and it took something out of me because I cannot do sit-ups now to save my life, whereas just before I caught COVID-19, I could still do 40 or 50 at a time. So it took something out of me, and now I can't do sit-ups to save my life. That's part of the reason why I'm putting on so much weight gain. Um, I have lost 10 pounds in the past couple of weeks from eating and exercising more, but eating less and exercising more, rather. But the type 2 diabetes is what makes my belly just put on weight, whereas the rest of my body is pretty fit. So that's the only explanation there is for it. It says insulin resistance. But anyway, I can still kick somebody's guts out, and I can still throw over 600 foot-pound punch because I've tested it on a force meter. And again, I hardly ever bench pressed in my life, and I definitely never did any leg pressing on weights in my life. It was always just Isshinryu Basics and plus Marine Corps Daily 7, and that is what built up my punch to back then 1,000-pound punch and at least a 2,000-pound front thrust kick, almost 3,000-pound front thrust kick. Um, so You don't need to work out with heavy weights, ridiculously heavy weights, unless you're already ridiculously strong naturally anyway, or have been doing it for years and years. When you start working out with weights, if you're going to do weights, I've been told more sets of low to average reps and medium weight is better than one or two sets of high weight. You want to build long muscle, unless you're a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders like that short compact muscle that sticks out like Arnold Schwarzenegger's flexed bicep. Okay, well the problem with that is that short compact muscle is not good for speed and punching. So you want that long lean muscle that adds length, and that gives you speed and coordination for punching. Whereas that short compact muscle looks good for bodybuilders, it looks good for powerlifting. It's good for powerlifting, but it's not good for punching. And that's why these guys end up with these big, bulky bodies, but none of them are the champion in the UFC. The champion in the UFC, for example, has long, lean muscle. You don't see, for example, Israel Adesanya or Kamaru Usman or whoever the champion is in their divisions now, because I can't remember. But you don't see them with big, bulky muscle. They have lean muscle and they're fast as lightning. Okay, so you're aiming for lean, long muscle for max range of motion and maximum speed. And so for that reason, you should not work out with ridiculously heavy weights. You should do more reps and more sets of light and medium weights if you're going to work out with weights. Or just work out without weights, to be honest. Just do more reps and more sets of your basic punches and kicks either on a heavy water bag or a sandbag, whatever you got, or shadow box or punch it in the mirror or whatnot. And if you do 10 to 20 reps every day of your basic punches and all of your basic punches and kicks, not just the 4 boxing punches, but all of the martial arts hand strikes, which we actually have 15 of them in Isshinryu, but we only practice 11 of them normally. But in all 9 basic kicks, your front snap kick, your front thrust kick, your forward angle, your cross heel stomp kick. That one's a little hard to do without losing your balance, but you usually end up in a cross stance one way or the other after you do a stomp kick, because you have to throw your whole body into that. But your forward angle kick, your side snap, your regular side kick that like Chuck Norris and Bill Wallace are famous for, your back angle, your full back, and then, for example, a forward knee and an upward knee, okay, are going to do 10 to 20 reps each of those every day, and your legs will be incredibly strong, but you'll build length muscle, not that short compact muscle. You won't be a bodybuilder. You'll be fast and you'll be flexible, and you'll hit with multi-thousand foot-pounds of force whenever you land your front thrust kick or a roundhouse kick. And yeah, that's another one you got to practice is your roundhouse kick. I haven't practiced roundhouse kicks in a regular basis in a long time, and it shows. So I'm not even going to demonstrate how poor my roundhouse kick is. It was never my best kick, but it was usually good enough to get away with. But now I would be afraid to throw it against a trained fighter. I would throw it against an unskilled fighter if I needed it, but I would be afraid to use a roundhouse against a trained fighter right now because it's like D minus. Whereas like my front thrust kick is still A plus, and my hand strikes are still A plus. But anyway, that's how you train long, lengthy muscle that is very flexible and very fast and very powerful for punching and kicking. If you're powerlifting, then yes, you do need to work out with heavy weights, as heavy as you can possibly get away with. You should do one light set to warm up, do your max, just do one rep of your max to see what it is that day, and then work out with whatever your heaviest comfortable weight is to build power. And the bodybuilders don't even go all the way out. That's part of the reason they get that compact muscle. They do short reps of really heavy weights, except for their max, which they go all the way up on. And that's what builds that short compact muscle. It looks awesome when they pose, but they get bulked up in ways that is not actually very good for punching and kicking, is what I'm getting at, but is good for powerlifting and for bodybuilding. So, but some of my favorite strongmen, not from the United States, have that perfect V body, and they have good build even for martial arts. Like Mariusz Pudzianowski was in the UFC and all the way up to 46 years old, and he was a 5-time world's strongest man. So there are exceptions where, yes, they get the right balance on their body mass and their natural talent and also their effort. And yes, he was the world's strongest man, and he kicked ass as a freaking MMA fighter. So there are exceptions where strong men and bodybuilders can be good fighters. So I'm not saying, you know, and what I like about Mariusz Pudzianowski, and also I think it's Dragunas Savickas, was also one of the multi-time world's strongest men. They have that awesome Superman-like V-shaped body. They're not just the barrel-chested strong men like some winners were, So like they're like the ultimate male person or something like that. And yes, they can kick your ass in a fight too. So there are exceptions to every general rule. All right. Thank you very much. I think I've covered what I wanted to do in this video. Even though I didn't do like a full workout or something, there's no point in me doing that right now. I'm gonna wait until the sun gets up and stuff. But so that's how you build leg strength and arm strength. It's good for speed because remember, speed is power. In physics, power is the cube of velocity multiplied by half the mass of a flowing fluid or object. So if you want more power, you want more speed. And if you want more extension, you want that long, lean muscle, not the short, compact muscle that might prevent you from getting maximum extension. All right. Thank you very much.